video, and today I know I didn't upload yesterday, but we're just finna do a reaction with my cousin. Let's get into it. We might watch this. We already watched a part of it, but it don't matter.
He would end up just like his parents. He finally built up enough courage to read the wall, and the writing on the wall said, "I know you're awake." Here are some photos taken right before disaster, Part 20. Jim Jones was a cult leader who amassed a huge following, and later he instigated a mass suicide at their Jonestown compound in Guyana. And this photo shows everyone that killed themselves during that mass suicide. In Ukraine, a woman once became lost in the catacombs under the city after spending New Year's Eve of 2005 drinking down there with her friends. She was never found until this group of teens supposedly stumbled across her body right there. Maria de Hoya passed away from tuberculosis at only 21 years old. During her illness, however, her doctor, Carl Hensler, fell in love with her. After she died, he kept her mummified body. He kept her corpse for 7 years before he was finally caught and imprisoned. This father's last wish was to walk his daughter down the aisle on her wedding day. He passed away just 5 days after the wedding. Pretty sad.
This is why you should never stay awake past 3 a.m. A woman in her early 20s was away from home on a business trip.
I stay up until 4 in the morning. What you mean?
She had trouble sleeping and had this intense fear that someone was staring at her in her room. She was up until 3, tossing and turning.
Oh, yo, what is that? Yo, that's the Slender Man if he was black.
Coming to get you. But she ignored it and eventually fell asleep. After her plane landed, she was exhausted but drove home. About 30 minutes into her drive, she started hearing the same whispers from the previous night, but she thought it was because she was sleep deprived, so she kept driving. She was almost home when she began to feel sick. Her eyes were watering, her nose was running, and she let out a large sneeze. "Bless you," said the same eerie voice. She quickly pulled into her driveway, hugged her husband, and sat down to tell him what was going on. When this happened, I can still hear that voice. This is why you should always keep pictures of your parents. A little girl named Olivia who lived a very quiet life decided to check her homework assignments that were posted online.
Listen, I got a picture of myself right there, so it was really hot. Brandon was just hot. Yeah, I got options. Press it, stop.
She finishes her paragraph and then
There's one secret hidden in this video that I will
Let's just finish.
Yeah, I will explain out. Okay, it's a link to my,
Olivia then begins to read about how her and her mom play golf every night and then pulls up the photograph. As soon as Olivia pulled out the photograph, her teacher's face goes numb. She then asked Olivia if she could take a closer look at the photograph. She then recognized her mom as one of her previous students. Then the teacher asked, "Where did you get this photo?" Olivia says, "My dad keeps them in his drawer." The teacher, shocked, sits down Olivia and pulls out an old newspaper. The newspaper headline, "Local high school teen murdered, boyfriend gone missing." The teacher then looks at Olivia and says, "Your mom has been dead for 14 years.
This one's pretty sad. Don't let this video flop. Plastic surgery's gone wrong, part 9. April Brown. From a young age, April always felt unattracted to men because she didn't have that big of a body. Knowing this, someone at her job offered to give her a back alley injection at her house for the cheap. She was very excited and said yes. She was scheduled for 4 injections, but she felt odd during the first one because the person that was injecting her kept leaving during the middle of the procedure. So she requested it to be stopped. Luckily, she stopped it when she did because she could have lost her life. She lost her arms, legs, and her blood cells. She's just happy to be alive and smiling today. Lesson of the day, stop going for the cheap and learn who's working on your body. Like this video for part 10.
Normal looking photos that have a disturbing backstory, part 11.
I'm not the zoom in.
Who was kidnapped for 9 months by the man on the far right. This photo was taken at a party the kidnapper crashed with Elizabeth, and she was forced to wear this veil at all times to focus on the recognition. Well, this
Okay, guys.
It's actually the crew of Apollo 1.
Let's go finish
They
that.
died inside
I
the
will
capsule and
see.
left, unable
This
to
was
escape.
the end of the
This is
video.
Chernobyl elephants. A
I
massive radiation.
don't know how long I'm gonna record.
If you hang around it for too long,
Oh,
I'm gonna record a little bit
but
of
not
it.
nearly as much as in 1986. It's so deadly that they had to use a set of
Hey,
mirrors to take
shut
this
up.
photograph. This photo was just taken after LBJ became president following the assassination of John F. Kennedy. In the front, you'll see Jackie Kennedy grieving her husband's death. LBJ turned toward his lifelong friend, Texas Congressman Albert Thomas, who gave him a wink and a smile.
Here are some photos taken right before disaster, Part 8.
Didn't we watch
This
part
is the
20?
last photo ever taken of XXX Tentacion. In this photo right here, you can see him at a motorcycle shop. But just moments after this photo was taken, he went outside to get in his car to leave, and he was killed as he was being robbed. Apparently, he had over $50,000 on him at the time. Rest in peace, you legend. This may look like a regular selfie of two close friends. But what happened later this night is super messed up. One of the girls, Cheyenne and Tony, allegedly strangled her friend using this very same belt that she's wearing right here. With friends like this, who needs enemies, man? Wow, so sad. This is the last photo ever taken of Christopher McCandless, aka the man from Into the Wild. His decomposed body was found by moose hunters in 1992. He apparently lived in an abandoned bus for over 100 days. His
he lived in an abandoned bus for 100 days.
Oh my god, guys.
Normal looking photos that have a disturbing backstory, part 17. This is YouTuber Sarah Funk, who is vlogging.
Imagine it was a jump scare. What the freak happened?
Guys,
Real a jump scare coming.
guys, it was a techno dish stuff, so you might have to wait a little bit.
You know, I'm scared.
Beyonce to return.
I'm sorry I had to skip.
Never play Part 7, the elevator game. The point of the game is to go to parallel universe. To play, you need to go to a building that has at least 10 floors.
I
And
might
you need to
go
be the
back.
only one in the elevator at all times. If somebody interrupts the game, start over. Then go to the floor.
It's a jump scare in this game. Well, I don't know if I can do this no more.
Keep on.
You see that woman in the back?
Bam.
Oh, you can't see her right there. He covering her.
Yep, I see it.
Oh. You can't see it. Stop lying. This dude is
I
behind.
can see it. I can.
It's behind her. Him.
Look.
There's no woman right there.
Look closely. Come on.
Bro, it's nobody right there. You lying.
I'm not lying. Look, guys. Look. I'm not lying. If you go right here, you.
Bro, so can y'all see somebody right there? That right there. It's nobody right there.
Okay. I'm gonna go a little bit and take a photo of this. I'm gonna take a photo of this.
That's nobody.
But if you see the frame,
That's nobody.
there's somebody.
That's nobody. That's someone in the elevator. You lying.
No, I said that one. That
No,
one.
There's nobody right there at the end. You lying, bro.
Look at his
You
face.
lying.
Look, he run.
Bro, you lying. Stop.
Guys, that was a techno issue too. Come on, just start the video back.
Stop.
4, 2, 6, 2, 10, and 5. In this exact same
Look.
order.
Look.
The elevator at all times. If somebody
Found. That messed up, found.
Shut up. You don't know what you're saying.
That messed up,
There's nobody behind that dude.
found.
Be quiet.
Found. Y'all saw that found. Y'all saw that found.
You don't know how to record no video. Immature.
Too amateur.
I'm just trying to record a nice, almost 10-minute video, man.
interrupts the game, start over. Then go to the floors 4, 2, 6, 2, 10, and 5. In this exact same order. Once you're in the 5th floor, a woman should enter
Look!
the elevator.
Oh my god.
Move. The camera can't see.
But don't speak to her and don't look at her, because she's not a human.
That's a real person, but she's not a human.
And she will take you and keep you with her forever. Interact with her. Then press the 1st floor and the elevator will go up or down, but it will take you to the 10th floor. At this point, leave the elevator immediately.
Stop!
Where you're going.
So I'm never going to the elevator.
You're alone there, your phone doesn't work, and it's dark outside.
That's
Go
scary.
back, do the steps all over again.
Wow.
And when you reach the first floor and something doesn't feel right, don't do it later, because you'll die.
Stop!
I'm trying, bro.
Stop, bro. I'm not recording a video with this
Okay,
video
I'm
game.
sorry, dang.
This the second time y'all saw him. This is second to last time y'all gonna see him.
Did you play this game?
Normal looking photos that have a disturbing backstory. Part 18. The girl in this photo was arrested for torturing and killing animals. She filmed herself doing it and even posted it online. She hanged her dogs by their collars, nailed them to walls, and even shot them with an airsoft gun. She would then cut them open and rip out their internal organs. This sweet looking
Weirdo.
little girl is Jeannie, also known as the Wild Child, who spent the first 13 years of her life chained to a chair, and this photo was taken moments after she'd just been rescued. This normal-looking scenic painting features the ocean with the night sky. However, it was painted by Adolf Hitler, whose dream in life was to become an artist. However, he failed the entrance exam to art school and ultimately gave up. These pieces of yarn in a first-grade classroom are the trajectories of the bullets fired by the Sandy Hook shooter in 2012, who killed 20 children and 6 adults. The reason that the angles are pointing downward is quite
I can
disturbing.
just stop the video right now.
Here's why you should never go on the road.
I'll pause it for you. Hold up, guys, we'll be right back.
Kansas have a 400
Guys, that was technical difficulty.
In 2016, 10-year-old Caleb Schwab was planning to ride the barracks with his 12-year-old brother Nathan. Due to the weight requirements, the two were separated, and Nathan went first while his brother Caleb was seated with 2 older women. But witnesses reported that their weight did not meet the requirements. At some point after the 168-foot drop, Caleb was thrown from the ride and hit one of the metal rails supporting it at nearly 70 miles an hour. Reports say that the 10-year-old had a fatal neck injury and was decapitated, while his 12-year-old brother witnessed the incident and screamed hysterically. Days later, the park announced that the ride was closed and was scheduled for demolition. This story has the best ending ever. In 2003, a 9-year-old was home alone playing video games when he thinks he hears his cat meowing on the back patio, so he goes downstairs to let him in. He sees a deranged-looking man standing on his back patio.
Bro, you scared me.
Who then quickly looks at the
I was looking at that and then I just heard my door open.
stuffs him in his
That's
mouth
not
before he
scary.
starts throwing him in the ice. After the police take the man away, they come back to talk to the boy and his family. Turns out the man had severe autism and lived in that boy's house up until his mother passed away, at which time he was transitioned to a mental institution. He broke out of that mental institution to go looking for his mom, which is how he came back to the boy's house. 15 years later, that same boy is sitting on his same back patio when he starts to hear that same meowing sound, and he looks up, and it's the same autistic man walking towards his house. Knowing the man's story, he invites him into his house. The man's face lights up, he runs inside and starts crying. He was finally home. The men become friends, and every week Tom goes home to visit.
Now, don't be fooled by this photo, because this story is called The Demon
That's
God.
kind
For
of
the short
awesome.
term they knew him, they called him Shanks. So if you haven't guessed it yet, Shanks is an American pit bull. But ever since Mark found Shanks, there was just something off. See, Shanks was fit, tough, and a very strong-looking dog. But when you looked into his eyes, there was something evil. Something evil.
Yeah, I can see the
But
evil.
Shanks was a stray.
No, I was
He was
looking dead
found
into
covered
his
in
eyes.
blood months ago. The vet said that it was blood from a carcass or something that he had eaten to try and survive. But after we saw Shanks attack Robin Warman while she was hanging out her washing, we knew it wasn't for survival. You see, Robin was 8 months pregnant when Shanks hunted her down and attacked her. Police said that they couldn't even recognize her once he'd finished ripping her apart. And unfortunately, neither her or her unborn baby survived. Since he ran away that day, 3 of his past owners have stepped forward, all with gruesome stories about Shanks. And all have refused to describe to police what he looks like, because he still stalks.
Man-made diseases caught on tape. The death of Kim Jong-nam. He was the half-brother of Kim Jong-un, and supposedly Kim Jong-un killed him. One day at an airport, Kim Jong-nam was grabbed by a girl. He was walking around, a girl grabbed him from behind and wiped oil on her forehead. Later, he complains to the airport staff about his forehead, pointing to it. They then bring him to a medical center. Later, there's video of him slumped in a chair, but I'm not going to show it on TikTok. He was pronounced dead in a span of 2 hours. This girl was later arrested that day for doing it. She was Vietnamese, and she said she thought it was baby oil. She said men came up to her saying it was baby oil, and if she wiped it on somebody's head, she would become a YouTube star. The 2 girls were released, and it was believed that Kim Jong-un hired the YouTube guys. The oil was the
I'm gonna end it right there, guys. Hope you guys enjoy it. And I'll see you next time. Peace out.